Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and for this week, as the title of the video says, I am painting my chapter of Space Marines, which is the Salamanders. In advance, I am apologising for any formatting and editing issues that happen in this video. I'm not really quite sure what was going on with CapCut when I was doing this. The scheme I used to paint this Space Marine was a slight deviation of the actual Games Workshop scheme. So first off, I started with a base coat of white scar from a spray can, which is the only deviation which I made from the actual scheme. Then I painted all of the main plates of armour on the Marine with Caliban green. I believe it's Caliban green, it might actually be Dark Angels green, I'm not really sure which one. I just know it's one of the two used for Dark Angels. Is there two used for Dark Angels? I don't know. Another apology I'll make before we get too far into this video is that I did not record the base and painting of the helmet for this Space Marine due to the difficulty I had with the both of them. If you can't tell from the video, the Caliban green or Dark Angels green is actually watered down with quite a fair bit of water because I opened the pot and it was pretty much all dried. So I just added water until it had a paintish consistency again. But it works quite well. It's more of a glaze or a contrast now. That was fun to work with. Overall, for how often I paint salamanders, I had quite a hag with this one. It wasn't very fun, especially with dealing with the heat in the UK at the moment. That wasn't fun either. So some quick notes about the base is that it's pieces of cork which I've shredded up and placed in strategic areas to make it look like the Marine is stood over two chunks of planet which have been split by the flow of lava, and he's stood above them, which I used a spray paint of Chaos Black with Mephiston red and Yirrel yellow and Troll Slayer orange, which I then coated back over with a glaze of Mephiston red. I don't know how well it would work in a grander scale, but I quite like it for the one-off base. Yeah. Like with usual, I realised that I hadn't glued the backpack onto the Marine and painted it with the rest of the Marine, so I'm doing that now. That was just the same, whatever green it is for the Dark Angels. If I'm being honest, working with a paint that was the consistency of that was actually quite fun, because I've been considering starting an Age of Sigmar army with the Lizard Men. I'm not sure what the Games Workshop name is for them. And just painting them with contrasts to get a brighter popping colour, but I'm not really sure because I've got quite a few armies going at the moment. Yeah. And now I'm painting the Aquila on the chest with, I believe, Retributor gold. And now I've begun to go over the Dark Angels green, whatever colour it's called, with Warpstone glow, which I had quite a bit of hassle getting to the right consistency because my wet palette kept drying up with the heat, and then once I'd gotten it to the right consistency, I had to go do something else, and then that caused it to dry up again, and yeah, lots of fun. And while I finish up this part of painting the Warpstone glow, I'll just talk about the helmet. So I wanted this marine to look like the Lieutenant design. The only reference image I really used was Titus's helmet from Space Marine 2, with like the red line going down the raised part of the helmet and then the two white stripes either side. So I did that. I'm not really sure if that's what Salamander heraldry actually has. I looked it up and I couldn't find it, but it looked cooler than whatever I was getting, so rule of cool, and I used it. But overall, with how much hassle I had with the Warpstone glow, I rather quite enjoyed the effect it gave out in the end of being able to see like some of the Caliban or Dark Angel's green beneath the Warpstone glow. I feel personally it made the Space Marine look a little bit more weathered. Looking through this video while I'm voicing it over, I'd just like to apologise for how often what I'm painting goes off camera, because I thought I'd gotten kind of good at that with last video, but clearly I haven't. I'll try and work on it for future. I try my best. I'm sorry. And now I'm painting the belt with, I believe, Corvus black. I'm not really sure, but I know painting it I did miss a couple of areas with Corvus black as well. Namely, what are they called? The elbow guards, that's what they are. Namely them, because normally of how I paint salamanders, I paint them with Corvus black so they stand out from the rest of the armour, but I forgot to do that this time. So they'll probably be changed by the next time you see this batch of Space Marines. And now I'm getting the Leadbelcher of the Under Armour. If you couldn't tell, I quite like using that for Under Armour. I don't know, just like makes it pop. I also used Leadbelcher for the control, like the terminal thing on the Lieutenant's arm. If you can tell, I've put the helmet I was talking about a minute ago on the model now, and it's also on the base now. I think overall it worked out quite well. I quite like this Marine in general, one of my favourites so far. And now I'm going back in with the Dark Angels or Caliban green or whatever, the dark green on the arms, a base coat for the arms. On the bent arm where the terminal is, I tried my best to avoid getting too much green on the parts that I know wouldn't be painted green, so I avoided them because I think I'd already done it in Leadbelcher. Well, I don't think I have, because I think I did that later Don't really know. Oh no, here we go. Now I'm going in and painting it with Leadbelcher. I believe I also painted the screen that's like popped up off the Night Lord's blue. I believe that was the colour I used. No, I'm fairly confident that was the colour I used. Because before I started YouTube, I did a Chaos Terminator of each of the original, like, non-major Chaos factions, not original. I probably won't make a post about them because they're not my best. I mean, you could argue these Space Marines aren't, but they're better than what the Terminators turned out to be. And here I've started painting the shoulder pads. I paint the insides of the shoulder pads with Corvus black, and then I paint the rims. Whatever gold it is I use on the Aquila, I'm 99% certain it's Retributor armour, because I think Liberator gold is the light gold I use. Not really sure. And then with like the sash thing across the shoulder pad I'm painting at the moment, I used the contrast Imperial Fists yellow so that I could get some more use out of that. Just because I figure I'm not going to use it much anymore. And I also really wanted to give this guy like a gun on his hip, but I wasn't sure where to put it because of the pose. So a couple of like testing trials, and I realised it fits best on the back piece of the armour, like the back skirt between that and the backpack thing. So I put that on there, painted it, like chopped off an arm, I think. So that was fun to do. Worked out in the end. A little bit of chopping, sanding, and then painting, and it was on. Because I think it looks good in the end. It wasn't the best gun I've painted. I used Corvus black for the case. And then I kind of like just did Leadbelcher for everything else, because I figure it's not the main detail. Oh, there we go with the Imperial Fist I was talking about earlier. There was a bit of an issue where I smudged it with the Corvus black. I think I got that on video. I'm not really sure. Oh, there we go. I put too much on, so now I'm trying to get rid of it with a tissue. And finishing these steps, that means the Space Marine is finished. It will cut to the final views in the end in a second. Thank you for watching, and I suppose like and subscribe.